So people, we're just creating a Maven project. Okay. We're just creating a Maven project. We just created a Maven project. Okay. So once the Maven project is created, as you can just see, you can just see a Spring Core Maven project is created. Quick start. Just create a quick start Maven project. It will have all the structure, whatever you've seen previously. Fine. Then, yeah, as usual, you can just change the, you can just change the Java version. Hmm. Change the Java version. Then the rest of all, it's typical whatever we did in Hibernate. It's a quick start project of Maven. Next, go to pom.xml. This is the first thing you need to do. Any Maven based project, the first thing you need to think about the dependencies. As you're working with the, you can just see here, by default, we have JUnit and the jar file is that only JUnit on the Maven dependencies. Hmm? So just go to the Maven repository and search the website and search for Spring context. Spring context. Okay. So it consists of Spring Core dependency also. That's why. Otherwise, you again you have to add Spring Core plus context. It's not required. Just search for Spring context. Go here. As I told you, the 6.1 version is already there. So now I'll just go for the 5 version. You can just see here 5.3.31. Okay. So you have the maximum downloads, usages. So I'll search for this 30 also. This is fine. 5.3.30. So I'll just copy this. Make sure that it is 5.3.330, the 5 versions latest version. Spring 5's latest version. I'm just copying it and we're just adding after dependencies. Yes. Spring context. We're adding the dependencies, Spring context. Save the file and check the Maven dependencies here. Yes. So jar files are added. It says basic Spring Core project. So I have the Spring Core, Spring context, beans, and all those things. Okay. So then my job of adding the jar files is done. So now I'll go to the SRC main Java. You can just see here the package is already there. So under this, I'll create a bean class or a model class. Folders basically. I'll get a package. I'll get a package Spring Core dot bean. I could have also named it as model. It's one and the same. Okay. I could have named it as model. I'm just naming it as bean. So bean. So we'll create a new. So just search for other and look for class as usual employee. I'm just creating a class with the name employee. So it's a bean class. First of all, we'll do constructor injection. First of all, we'll do the constructor injection. Bean class for constructor injection. For constructor dependency injection. So as usual, private. Okay, so the 3 fields we are just adding and I'll generate a constructor. constructor using fields. Okay. So after that, I'll write a. We could have created a setter method. We could have created a setter method. Instead of that, I'll write a normal one single display method. Okay. I could have created a setter and getter method. Getter method is for used for what? For displaying the values. Instead of that, I'll just try to create a fine. So we have a employee, that's a bean class, and a display method. Okay. Instead of this, we could also generate what? Getter methods. But three times I need to call in the main. So that's why I'm just trying to use the display method, display the details. Okay. So you can just see here what are the things required. We are creating a bean class. Okay. So dependencies we added. Now we are creating a bean class. Now we'll create a XML file. We're creating XML file. Okay. And after that, test class. Yes. So of course it should be under what? SRC main Java. So right click, new. So here, as I told you previously, you need to search for Spring now. One, just a minute. I need to restart. We need to create a Spring Bean configuration file like we had in hibernate.cfg.xml. Na? Here also, it will create a template for us. Okay. So under SRC main Java, just go to other. Now we search for Spring. So because of that, installing that add-in, na, what is that? Spring Tools 3. So we'll get this. Otherwise, you'll not get this. Spring Bean configuration file. Just click on next. So it will be part of. Okay. So I'll just try to give this name. Employee Bean XML. Employee employee Bean. Okay, I'll just give the file name as employee Bean. So next, click on next. Now here you need to select which are the namespaces we require. Which are the namespaces we basically require. Okay. So first thing you have to select beans. This one, beans. You will select the beans. Okay. This is the bean configuration file, right? So that's why I require a beans. So here you have to select the desired XSD for this, the latest version. Yeah. So I'll select this, the last one, the latest 4.3. Hmm. Yeah. So only this beans you select as of now. Okay. Beans and the when you select that beans, now you'll get this option. Select the latest version. Click on next and just say finish. Okay. So it is adding the configuration file. One minute. Emails. Just doing once again. I think one namespace is missing. Yeah, select this P. Okay. Schema. Basically, you have to select this P schema. Schema. This one. The two things you have to select. One is beans and there is the P. For the schema of the, yeah, two things. For this, there is no version. So click on next. Finish. Yes. So here you need to create an object. So get the idea, people. So normally where we create an object in the main file, we create an object in the main, is it not? But we are creating a employee object in the XML file here or a bean configuration file, and that is what called as IOC. Okay, that is what called as IOC. So we're just trying to create a employee object. We're just trying to create a employee objects. Okay, so what is this basically? This is nothing but IOC, inversion of control. Means what? It is also basically called as IOC. What does it mean? So creation of objects. Creation of objects. Okay. Outsourced. Outsourced to XML file. The creation of objects and setting its properties is outsourced to XML file. So that is what we are just trying to do. Okay. So for that, we are using the bean class. Okay. Bean tag. Using the bean tag. So we're just trying to use the bean tag here. So I'm just trying to create an object, people. I'm just trying to create a object. Bean ID equals emp1, the name of the object. Okay. The name of the object, and class equals this dot employee. Okay, so we're just creating a emp1 object. Just understand. So now we are setting the property for that. Okay, so now we will just try to perform dependency injection using constructor. We're just trying to perform the dependency injection using constructor. Okay, so how we can do that? So we have this one tag called as constructor args. Yeah, we have a tag called as constructor args. Okay. So here we need to pass the value. This is the value. Okay. So next type, we need to pass the type integer. So this is the first argument, people. The second argument, third argument, we need to pass. Just check out. I'm passing the values for this. Employee ID, name, and salary. For this, I'm passing the arguments. Okay. So here. So type is string. The last one is the salary. Is it not? Is of type double. So I'm creating a object in a XML file using the tags. Bin emp1 is an object, and this is one more object. Sorry, closing of that, and these are the values for the constructor. These are the values of the constructors. So like this, I can create n number of objects. Like this, I can create n number of objects. Okay. So now we'll create a testing file or a main file. Next, we'll create a testing file or a main file. Okay. So this I'll go to the base package. This will go to the base package. Okay. Already one file was there, na app.java. Yeah. This one app.java. By default, one file is created, right? I'll just rename that as we did that day to employee app. Employee app. So Spring app to demonstrate what? Using constructors. We're creating a Spring application to demonstrate DI using constructors. Okay, so this is what we just should be knowing. So how we can do that? So now we need to read that Spring configuration file. You need to read the Spring configuration file. So it is done with which interface? Application context. Okay, so that's a container for processing the dependency injections. So application context. So just look here. Application context is of Java applet is also there. You need to select which one? org.springframework.context. Okay. So context equals new class path application context. Okay. So here you need to specify the. Okay, this should better instead of employee bean, na, I will rename it as config file because it's a Spring Bean configuration file. So refactor rename employee config.xml. Okay, employee config. It's under src main Java. So here you are specifying that the name of the file employee config.xml. Okay, so what is this? It's a container. Basically, it is a container for what? For managing Spring apps. Application context is a container for managing Spring applications. Plus, it manages life cycle of objects. What is life cycle of object? Creating, instantiating, in service, and destroying. So the life cycle of an object is also managed here. Okay, and implements what? IOC, and implements inversion of control. Okay. So next is we need to get the employee bin. We need to get the employee bin. Okay. We need to get the employee bin. So how we can get the employee bin? So for that, I'll create an object of employee class here. Employee is equal to the context. Context is about the application context object what we got it here. Dot get bin. Yeah, you can just get bin. Okay. So here we have to specify the name of the object, the ID, what are you given there. Hmm? We need to import the yes. So I need to do the typecasting. So next, what do you do? E dot display. So why not getting display? We should give it a public. So E dot display. Okay. So once that is done, your class path application context has to be closed. This instance has to be closed. Otherwise, you'll get a warning there. Hmm. So this is a code for a simple Spring Core application for performing dependency injection. Okay. So all set ready. It should work now. Run as Java application. Yes, I'm getting an output. Employee details. Yes. So what is this? This simple programming application. This is value create an object. Okay? XML value from value to pass the values to the object. It came from XML. Two concept. But this is not very real. You could have created a whole direction. Of course, we could create that. Okay, but then there is a dependency directly. Now, this object is saved only at the runtime when it is injected. Injected means injected at the runtime. Okay, if you don't handle about this thing, there was not a dependency there. So here, you can just observe that we create an employee model class. We create an employee model class with its properties. So in the previous cases, what we did, here only we used to create an object and you have to set the call the setter methods or you have to initialize with the constructor. Is it not? But now in this case, what you are trying to do? What are you trying to do? You're just creating a XML file, or it is also called as bean configuration file, which is used for creation of objects and to set the values for the properties. So I'll create one more object. I'll copy this bean tag, the full bean tag below. I'll copy the full bean tag below. I'll create the next object with the name emp2. Next object I'll create emp2. So I'm creating one more object. We're just trying to create one more object. Spring code. Huh? So here you can just create one more object. Okay. So this we have E, right? So I'll copy this below. We'll create one more object E2. And here also I'm getting emp2 E2 dot display. The second object. Hmm. I'm getting the details of the two objects. I'm getting the details of two objects. Okay. This is what we're trying to. And this is what called as constructor injection. This is what called as constructor injection. So now we'll see one more setter injection. So in the Hibernate application also you might have seen. Just to recap here, guys, the Hibernate demo, we created the main class, is it not? Here we used to do that same, but here we are trying to create here itself. This is what same thing. Now we are converting into, we'll be converting that into setter injection in Spring. And one more, I think, product we have done what? This is a constructor injection. This will be converting into constructor injection. This will be converting into constructor injection. Okay. So in Spring framework, we'll just try to understand the concept of IOC and different flavors of DI is a flavor of that. Under that, which one? The constructor, setter. Okay. Yes, I'll just show you directly. So just look here, people. We'll get one more example here. There's nothing but students for setter injection. This is a Pojo class for. Yes, silence. This is a Pojo class for setter injection. Here also we have roll number, name, college, and marks. Okay. So here I don't have a constructor. I don't have a constructor. Instead of that, we have setters and getters. We have setters and getters. Okay. So after this, we'll create a config file. We'll create a config file. So I'm creating an object, student1, from a student class. From a student class. Okay. Now we are using property tag. Previously, what we used? Constructor arg. The previous example, we use constructor arg. Is it not? Because it's for constructor injection. So now we are using setter injection. So we're using property tag. Same. Name equals roll number, value. Name, Navin Kumar, college, marks. So through setter injection. One more object you are creating. Again, property. So two objects we are creating. Student one and okay, with the property tag. So next, the main file, we have a student app. Where is it? So dependency injection using setter method. That's nothing but again one more flavor of DI. Same. We specifying here now student config. We're specifying student config. Okay. Then we're getting an object and storing in S1 and S2, and we are printing the details. Just okay. Okay. So where did we create objects? Where did we create object? In the XML file. We create object in a XML file, and here we're just trying to get that objects, and we are printing that roll number, name, college, and get mark. Just look here. I don't have a display method, so that's why now I need to individually call each individual getter methods for roll number, name, college, and marks. So I'm just trying to give the values through setters. So as I told you previously also, in the previous case directly we used in the main, but now we are giving that in the XML file. So it is displaying the values. So what is the difference here? In the previous case we use constructor arg, but here we are using property type. We are using property type. Done? So now here also same example is that. We can just try that. Just look here people. We'll see now. This one. What is that? When you have an aggregation. The previous two examples I showed you. What was that? Single class normal properties. Now we have an aggregation. What is aggregation? We have a dependent object. We have an object of another class. Suppose your class with a dependent object of type address. Just look here. ID and name. Fine. And we have an address object. Okay. It has a relationship. So we have a separate class called as address, which consists of address line 1, city, state, and country. So this is what I was trying to tell you in the morning. Normalization. So developer will be one class, one table, address will be another table. His address details like address line, city, state, country is in another table, and the developer has a reference of that. Okay. So here also we have getters and setters, and I have a display method. I'm printing ID, name, plus address object. We're just trying to print. So what does it consist of? Address object, address line, city, state, and country. Okay. So we have the main file for that developer app. So getting the information from this, we're getting an object, and I'm just trying to print that. That is fine. The same thing. So what is the things we need to look? We need to look on the config file. Okay. So first I will create an object of address. First I'll create an object of address. First we are creating an object of subclass, the address object. Okay. Address line Park State, Kolkata, West Bengal, India. Done. And this one, I'm creating a developer object. Same property, I'm just giving everything. But here I'm just specifying property name as address, and I'm using the reference property. It refers to what? This object. Okay. So third will be one what, which is referring to the address object, whatever you created. So a property with the name address. In the previous case, we are given value, but here we are using the reference tag. The reference tag, which is pointing to this. Okay. So what type of DI we are following here? Which DI we are following here? Setter injection, because we used property. Wherever you're using property, then is the setter injection. So you can just check out your developer app. Okay. Okay. And it is here printing the address line. Park State, Kolkata, West Bengal. So the creation of objects are outsourced to an XML file. That is what called as IOC. That is what called as IOC. Hmm? So you need to look into this developer config, people. You look into the developer config here. Before that, I create an object of address. Before that, I will create an object of address. So that I'm referring here. So that's why while printing now here in the developer, it will print that object, the content of that. So basically, it will be assigned to this. Next, one more example I had for constructor, same ID, name, author, publisher, quantity. So this is for constructor injection. I have a constructor and I am displaying that. Okay. So in the book config XML, I'm using this constructor arguments and giving the values. Okay. So constructor, it's a constructor injection. And the book app, I'm just trying to display that like this. Okay. Similarly, any objects. Now this is a plain quick start application. Similarly, in a web application also, all the objects will be created where? In a XML file. For example, I need to create a connection object. Where it will be created? Think that I'm working with the JDBC in Spring framework. I need to create a connection object. Where it will be created? In a XML file. In a XML file. So in the code, I'm directly writing the query. I'll be directly writing the queries. So like that. Okay. So now how this we can compare it with the complex application. Now, for example, you are using JDBC. For example, you are using JDBC. Okay. Spring tutorial. The thing that you are using JDBC. So just look at people. I have a model class. We have a model class. We have a model class. Employee, ID, name, salary, all those. Now I have a DAO class. Just look at people. I'm just defining a template of type JDBC. That's all. And directly I'm writing the query. Directly we are writing the query. We're just creating a JDBC template in the DAO. So no connection, as I told you, no creation of connection, no try catch, no creation of statement object, nothing. So I'm just created a JDBC template. We are created here and directly writing the query and executing this. Just look here. This much. This much code is enough to save a record. Compare this with the JDBC, normal plain JDBC. So many code. This is totally reduced. Okay. Similarly for update, we are writing update query. Next delete. Okay. So in the XML file, we have specified this. What is that? The connection property. Everyone listen here. In the XML file, we have defined the connection properties. Means we have created an object. We have created a object. So just look at same bean ID of which one? Why? I need to create now connection property. This is for Oracle. Okay. So I am setting here. Hmm? So I'm creating one bean ID with the name DS. Just understand. This bean ID means an object has all these properties. Now I'm creating one ID with the name JDBC template from this, from the Spring Boot. And for this, I'm just specifying the data source as DS. So what is DS, people? Okay. So next, I'm creating an object of eDAO of employee DAO. And for that, we are referring what? JDBC template. So which are the objects we created here? eDAO, JDBC template, and DS. So this we have created, I'm using it here. This we have created, I'm using it here. So this particular bean IDs, whatever you are used here, now that I'm referring where now? In the code. Which code? So now this JDBC template has what, people? Got it? All these things previously in JDBC, what we did? We wrote the code ourselves. But here we are giving the form of what? We are outsourced it. Okay. Here you are performing setter injection. Here you are performing setter injection. We outsourced it. Creation of the driver, connection object, everything we have outsourced it. And we are just trying to use it. Hmm? Here it is same. Just look here. XML file. Got it? The same. Now whatever we did now, same thing I am explaining in terms of what? JDBC code. Okay. So what do you find here? IOC. We find the new thing is IOC. What is an IOC? Version control. Creation of objects and setting the properties for it is outsourced with XML files. And that content, the objects and properties of for that is injected. Dependency injection means injected at runtime. Okay. If I declare an object at the main class itself, the object just exists in the compile dialog. But you are fully outsourced and we are injecting it runtime. That is the concept of the dependency injection. Yeah. Okay. So there is a stuff. Again, no exception. This is that. No application of the next order. Okay. So this is like the y the program we only thing is going to object which will know the helping web application again very strong. I'll upload the labs mornings and today.